So the very first step is to sign up for Twilio. Now, Twilio is the platform that we will be using to get an online voice over IP VoIP phone number. And this phone number will be the one that we connect with the automation, and it will be responsible for sending the text message the moment that the form is submitted. And then using Twilio and the Twilio platform with this phone number that we get for you, we will set it up to forward responses to your actual mobile phone number, and should anybody call that number that sends that text message, it'll also forward that phone call directly to your office number or mobile number, wherever you want it to go. So click on the Twilio link on the blog post on the right above this video, and then click on sign up. Here they'll ask you for simple first, last, email, and password. Once you do that, let's skip over here, you'll see they'll need you to verify your email. The email that will come in will look like this, just asking you to click on this confirmation email. Once you do that, you'll be sent to the Twilio dashboard, which will ask you to verify your actual phone number, just to make sure that you're a real person and not some sort of bot. And so you'll just put in your actual mobile phone number here, click verify, and then it'll ask you to type in the code that they just sent you to that number. Once you do that, they'll ask you some quick questions. You'll just click, do you write code? No. And then answer a few other questions. Doesn't really matter. Just put no, and then put you plan on creating something yourself within the Twilio platform, and then you'll finally get to the dashboard. Now they give you some trial, $15 balance for the trial. You can get a free trial number, but as you can see here, messages and calls including note about this coming from a Twilio trial account. So every text message will say Twilio trial account, and every call will say calling from Twilio trial account. We don't want that. So before we get into how to set up and get your number, the first thing you want to do is upgrade the project to a live account. And Twilio basically asks for your address, the country, the billing address, same as company, and then your billing details, so your credit card or your PayPal. And what they require is you pre-fill your account with 20 bucks. Now for most of you, this 20 bucks will last way over a month. But the way that billing works on Twilio is they simply charge you $10 whenever your balance goes under $10, or you can disable the automatic completely. But like I said, for most businesses that I've seen and that I worked with, they have a hard time spending even 10 bucks a month because it's so cheap. It's a fraction of a penny. I think for 1,000 text messages, it comes out to like $7.50, and for like 5 hours of talking on the phone, from calls that come through your number through Twilio, it's like $5. So it's literally nothing. So once you upgrade it, you can move on to the next step. Next, we want to purchase your first phone number. So to do that, you'll be using your existing balance. So you should be at about 20 bucks right now. I'm at 10.92. And what you'll do is you'll click on the phone numbers pound sign, and then you'll click on the plus button, or simply click on buy a number. Now, local numbers are just $1 per month, and they charge your balance automatically. So you have a couple search options here. First part of number, anywhere number, or last part of number. And you can also search by number or location. So if you know your city name, you can put it in here. Or if you know your area code, you'll choose number, which is the default. First part of number, which is what we're matching to, and just type in the number. So I can type in 617, for example, for Boston, and click search. Right now they're having a temporary maintenance that should be done soon, so unfortunately for my video, I got lucky at the right time. But normally what you would see here is a list of phone numbers, and all you gotta do is click buy next to one of them. If you don't like the options, or just you'll just keep clicking search for more, or you'll play around with the area code. Now, if when it's working, it still gives you no results found, which rarely happens, sometimes for area codes that are very uncommon, then you can always send a request to see if they'll get one for you, available for you. So once you click buy on that phone number, now you're ready to continue to set up the actual call flow and text message flow. When you buy the number, it'll ask you to set up some settings. Don't worry about doing that now. You can skip that. Okay, so then once you have the number, you want to click on all products and services, scroll down to the bottom here until you see Studio under Runtime. Here we will be creating a studio. The studio is what the phone number follows in terms of what it should be doing when somebody calls or somebody messages the number. So we're going to create a new flow by clicking on the plus button, create a new flow. Give it a name. We'll say gutter forward number. Alright, next. We can choose start from scratch and then we can click next. Alright, this is the Studio Builder. You can see the triggers are incoming call, incoming message, incoming call, and then REST API. You don't have to worry about this, just these two. So when a message comes in, being a text message, we want it to forward to your mobile number. And when a call comes in, we want it to also forward to your number of choice. So what we want to do is make sure that we have the main grid selected so you can see the menu options. Let's focus on incoming call first. So what we want to do is we want to connect this call to your number. So the one we want to use is connect call to option. So just drag it in there or click on it, and now this is the settings for this. Alright, so once it's in here, we want to connect it to incoming call. So just click on that and drag it into this dot, and now they're connected. Now we want to set the settings for this. So we click on this button and the settings pop up on the right here. So what we want to do is connect call to, and we have a couple options. Multiple numbers, calling them at the same time, and these you don't, or single number, these you don't have to worry about for now. So I'm going to leave it at single number, and it tells you the format at which you should be adding this, which is plus country code and then your phone number. So from USA it'll be +1, which is the North American country, the North American code, and then it's the number, 10 digits. All right. And then you can choose if you want to set recording on and off. That way you can listen back to calls that come into this number if you wanted to. It's a fraction of a penny more per second charge, but it could be useful. I'm going to leave it off, and then click Save. Alright. Next, incoming message. So click into the grid, have the menu pop up, and scroll down to messaging. We want to send a message, so we pop that in here, and connect incoming message to the send message settings. So I click on this send message option that we added, and instantly the settings pop up on the right hand side here. So the first thing I want you to do is click on messaging and chat config and scroll down to the section called send message to. This is where we're replacing this input here that's default with your number again, your mobile number. So again, once again, the format is plus country code and then your phone number. Alright, now we're not done yet. We have to fill in the message body. So I've already added the copy and paste message body that you should use in the blog post. If you're watching this video on a different platform other than my website, then look for the description of the video where you'll find the link to the blog post. Okay, so let me pull that up real quick, copy that, and I'll explain this in a second. Paste it here. Boom. So when a message comes into, oh, by the way, click save real quick. And so that means when a message comes in to your tracking number, it's going to forward it to the number inserted here, And the message will be this. It'll say new message from, and then this will automatically be replaced with the number that texted your tracking number. So the number that texted in response to your message that went out automatically when they filled out the form. So the number that was used to text you in response will be here. This is your lead number. This is your customer number. And then the body, it'll be what they responded with. So their message will be pasted here. And then I added this nice little reminder so that you know not to hit just reply and send back a message. I wrote, to reply to this message, do not reply here. Start a new message with the contact's phone number as the send to number, which is going to be here. Now, to explain why this has to happen. So let me explain. The number here, right? The number that you purchased in Twilio, when somebody texts it, it's forwarding, it's receiving that text message, right? And then it's forwarding to you. So you actually see the message came from not the customer or the lead, but it came from your tracking number because it was forwarded. So what happens when you respond, it's going to send that message, your response, back to your own number, which will send it back to you again. Why? Because it's being forwarded. So to fix this, you have to copy the number that the message came from, set up, go to your phone, click create new message, paste that number in, and then respond. Okay? Because it's being forwarded. Alright. So once that is done, click publish. Without clicking publish, all these changes will not be saved and it will not work. Alright, you have your studio done. Now we have to connect this studio to the phone number that you purchased. So let's go back to phone numbers, clicking on this pound sign. Find your phone number in the list. I have 3, you'll have just 1. Click on it. Alright. And scroll down until you see accepting incoming, voice and fax, and messaging. Step 1. We want to set the configure with drop-down option to the first one if it already isn't set to that. Then the section where it says a call comes in, select Studio Flow. And then in the drop-down, find the new studio that you made. So for us, it's gutter forward number, and select it. I'm not going to select it because this is a live number. Then when text messages comes in, the way that it is handled is set up here under messaging. Same thing, configure with should be set to webhooks, function studio or proxy, all right? And then a message comes in, should be set to studio, and then select the studio, the same one again. Then click save. And that's it, you're set up. Now what you need to do is test it. How do you test it? You take your phone number, your own mobile device, or any phone or any any phone that you have. It could be the same one that the phone is pointing to as well. It doesn't have to be a different phone. And then call the number. Once you call the number, it should redirect the phone call to the number that you placed in the studio. If it's the same number that you're calling, if it's the same phone number, that you're calling from, it'll just show an incoming call coming in that you can deny. Then also text that number from a different mobile number. Text it, and it should forward automatically to your mobile device, and you should receive a text message. And it should contain their phone number, and it should contain the messages that they sent. All right? Once you do that and it's working, that means you are good to go and we can move on to the next step. But before we move on to the next step, there is something that you need to look up and save for the next step. And that is called the API details, the API login credentials. And let's find that in settings, and then settings again. And then click on, actually it'll be pulled up automatically. And what we're looking for is the live credentials. So select this number, save it, and then click on this eyeball here to open up the authentication token, which I will not show you. But yours, since it's secretive, but you should click on this button here. It'll expose this text, copy it, and paste it in a document like here for example, because we will be using this in the next phase to connect this system, this phone number, to the automation software. Okay, so that's it for setting up your phone number. Hopefully that all makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Otherwise, let's move on to the next section.